Morning, everyone. Thanks for checking me out. Today, on the way to the job, I was thinking about what I want to document today, or what I want to talk about today. But if you read the thumbnail, you pretty much know where it is. It's about reminding your mind. Over the past few months, I've been thinking about this, thinking about my mind is a tool. It's not my friend. It's just a tool. Just like any other tool, you have to use it correctly. Just like a hammer is made for nails, a hammer is made to hit things and drive things in. A mind is made for something super special and super particular. That's why you have one. It's made to help shape and create you, the real you on the inside, and your dreams and your desires and your aspirations. But we got to remember that it's just a tool. It's made to serve you. It's made to serve you. And thank God, especially if you have a good mind, a great mind with no type of disabilities, that's when you get up and you thank God every day. You open your eyes and you thank God for the gift of a sound mind and a sound body. But a mind is even more important than a sound body. Don't get me wrong. It's good to have both. It's great to have both. Optimally, that's what you want. But in my other video, when I spoke about the gentleman, that swimmer that was from Brazil, he had no arms and he had short, misshapen legs. He was part of the Paralympics, and his mind was free. His mind was open to the possibility of actually becoming a swimmer, even though his body told him otherwise. I need to let that soak in for me. His mind told him something, and his body told him something else. Now, he could have allowed his mind to take him what his body told him about his circumstances, but instead, he reminded his mind that it's a tool, and the mind serves him. So he said, I'm going to use my body to become a swimmer. Now, most people will think, oh, that's impossible. Well, according to him, it's not impossible. There was even another swimmer in the race. He had no arms and he had one leg. And he jumped in the pool, swam to one end to the other end. And again, I'm talking about the Paralympics that took place a few months ago. You have to remind your mind, like I do. And sometimes the first thing is, we have the trappings of the memory. Our memories tend to trap us into the thing that we repeat over and over again, especially those things that don't serve us to the best of our ability. That guy, he could have been trapped into the memory of, I have no arms, I have no legs. Every time he looks in the mirror, he sees it. He knows he has no arms and no legs. But he didn't allow that image or that memory to trap him. And that's something that I have to do constantly. And I'm seeing over the past few days and weeks and years that it's been happening to me and it's happening for me in different situations. And when I was younger, as I look back now, because they say hindsight is 2020, this principle has been at work in many times in my life, but I wasn't intentional about it. When you add intentionality or intention to actually freeing your mind from the trappings of memory, it seems like that's when things can happen exponentially and there can be great change within your life. So be careful of the memories. Some of these memories you need to let go. And even if they are on repeat, you don't have to believe the memory, because that's just one perspective. And you think you have the right perspective on all your memories, but some of those memories, they're not as bad as you thought it was. Now, for some people, they were horrible. And and for some people, they will never go away. But how are you going to use it? Like for me, when I was a young man, something happened to me that was inappropriate. Like I, I had someone actually like touch my private area, molest me. Thank God it only happened one time, and thank God I never had to struggle with and it was a man too. I never had to struggle with the with with same sex attraction. I thank God for that. But I'm also glad that I didn't allow that memory to trap me in a lifestyle or habits that may have been counterproductive to me. That's just one example. I'm not sure why I'm sharing that, but I'm just sharing it with that today. So be careful of the trappings of the memory. Remind your mind that you are not your memories. Um, Next thing, be careful of the tales of the mediocre. What do I mean about the tales of mediocre? I remember in my 20s, this was when I graduated college, and even when I was in college, I surrounded my friends, I was surrounding myself with friends that they, that, that, instead of moving forward with their lives, and I can't even blame them, it's me. We were constantly telling tales of yesterday and tales of mediocre, thinking that it was so awesome. Now I'm 44, in my 40s. I'm thinking about those were tales of mediocre, tales of mediocrity. There weren't no tales about going and pursuing things of great value. It wasn't tales of esteeming someone to be great. It was just a constant repeat of partying, smoking, girls, but it wasn't tales on future plans, tales on desiring to be great. Be careful who keeps telling you stories, these tales of mediocrity, and thinking that it was good times, or quote unquote, it may have been good times, but you're not there anymore. Remind your mind that some of these tales are just mediocrity, and that's all they are, a tale, a story. And as I get older, I'm realizing that I have to remind my mind that there are trials for mastery. If you want to master something, it's going to hurt. And again, I've known these principles from a young age, quote unquote, know it. But it's now when I'm older that I'm realizing that I have to be intentional about actually getting into a trial for mastery. That's even what this channel is about. I was telling my wife this morning, I have an accent. I'm from St. Thomas, and I tend to eat my words when I'm speaking. So now I realize I have to overpronounce. I have to remind my mind to move my mouth. The trials of mastery. For those of you who actually saw any other of my videos, I'm a drummer. So I had to go through years and years of hand hurting and mistakes to get better. I'm not a master in drumming, but the trials of mastery let you know that you have to go through something to get better. These are principles that we learn as a baby. But as we get older, we start to care about other things. Like as a baby, when you were walking, when you were learning how to walk, you fell how many times? And some of us probably bumped our head. We cried, but we got up. As a baby, we didn't care about what people thought about us when we fall or when we fell. All we knew is that this new idea about getting up and walking on 2 feet, and we couldn't even articulate it, but there was something on the inside that drove us to actually go beyond what we've done as a baby. No more hands and knees. We're getting up on our feet. I'm seeing people around me doing this thing. I can do it. Even though the baby can't articulate that, there's something on the inside that drives him to say, I can't stand. And the same thing about talking. They look and they observe, and they see people moving their mouth and sounds are coming out, and they're not concerned about sounding funny. All they know is if I'm trying to master communicating with people, I have to move my mouth. And again, they don't even know this is what they're doing. But something on the inside is driving them. This is a trial for mastery. And the same steps in school or whatever else it is, you must go through trials if you want to master anything. If it's singing, dancing, carpentry, public speaking, even starting a YouTube channel, being a husband, being in a good marriage, for those of us that desire that, now in my heart, that's something that I desire for everybody. Because those are a marriage, mother, father, child, those are the building blocks of a community, and those who are together and really staying together. Marriages are trials, and some days are good, some days are bad. Some days are very good, some days are very bad. But we keep fighting on towards mastery, mastering communication. For those of us who are working on relationships, master communication, and sometimes you're going to mess up with communication, but that's a trial. Remind your mind, just like how I'm reminding my mind every day, daily. Some days are good, some days are bad, but get up. Don't beat yourself up for too bad about it. If you've allowed your mind to run rampant and tell you what you are, it's not too late. This is when you tell your mind what God says you are. You're above, not beneath. You're the head, not the tail, for those that believe. If you're not a believer, then I'm not talking to you, but I kind of am. You're a head. You're not a tail. You're above. You're not beneath. I have to remind my mind of these things, especially when it wants to go back to the trappings of the memory, because your mind loves to go back to the past and grab hold of things and bring you back to the tales of mediocrity, the things that we swore they were so good, the stories that it plays in our mind thinking that it was awesome, but is really nonsense. It was really mediocrity. And a lot of times the mind tends to want to run away from the trials of mastery, but there's no other way. The trials of mastery. So for those of us who need a reminder, remind your mind. It's a tool. It's made to serve you. God gave it to you to serve you, to become the best you that you can be. I want to encourage whoever's listening. And to be honest, I'm even encouraging myself. Again, I've been wrestling with this for the past few months now. But it's good to just remind myself now. Don't get trapped in my memory. Don't get so caught up with the tales of mediocrity. And have to jump in and move forward with the trials of mastery. Be blessed.